Welcome to Giants Tarot for September 4. I'm Elizabeth. Whatever we remember, think, know, see, use, develop has originally come to us in some form via members of the human race, some of whom have been the greatest minds who have walked amongst us, and some of whom we suspect have been connected with celestial energies. Foundational to our beliefs, sciences and known facts now are the observations, meditations and creations shared by those who have walked this earth before, leaving behind all manner of foundational stuff for us. I call these souls the giants. Standing on the shoulders of the giants is a metaphor which means using the understanding gained by major thinkers who have gone before in order to make intellectual progress. So the first reading I have for you today is from Glenville, Kleiser, September 4. Cultivate purity of mind. Make your life harmonious by thinking only harmonious thoughts. Resolutely shut your mental door against all contrary ideas. Keep your mind inviolate. Make your life beautiful by looking only at beautiful things. The world about you is wonderfully attractive, and you can deliberately choose what subjects shall engage your attention. Make your life pure by cultivating purity of heart. To the pure, all things are pure. Moreover, purity of mind builds bodily health. Keep your life simple by conforming it to simple tastes, desires, and habits. Simplicity is a safeguard against many of life's greatest disappointments. Keep your life righteous by studying God's truth every day and by implicit obedience to your own conscience. The second reading from the Theosophical Society's booklet, Meditations for the Day, or whatever it's called. Take care not to seek to impose your standards of life, your convictions upon others. Help them to gain their own standards, to reach their own convictions, but be these what they may, provided they stimulate to nobler things. And from the birthday book, this is the birth date of those able to captivate by charm of voice and manner. It opens out good prospects for the lecturer or the salesman of wares and having a chiefly feminine appeal, wherein vogue counts for as much as intrinsic worth. The mind is keen, orderly and shrewd. A tendency to overtax the strength should be held in check. Choose a partner with plenty of imagination. From 365 Things to Know by Clifford Parker, September the 4th. What is the House of Commons? The House of Commons is one of the two houses of Parliament which govern the United Kingdom and make its laws. The other is the House of Lords. Unlike the Lords, whose members are there simply because they belong to the peerage, members of the House of Commons are elected. Everyone in the country over the age of 21, with a few exceptions, can vote for the candidate of their choice at election times. A general election, that is, an election in which all the seats in the House are voted for, must be held every 5 years. There are 630 members of the House of Commons, 511 for England, 71 for Scotland, 36 for Wales, and 12 for Northern Ireland. Both houses of Parliament meet in the Palace of Westminster, though of course they each have their own chamber. The Commons are more powerful than the Lords, who survive mainly as a safeguard against silly or dangerous laws being put into effect. Aham. That's what it says. An old book. Numerology. It's not the right one. Damn. Oh, well, I can't read you that today because it's not the right one. However, this one here, we've got a Virgo 4th. The sun is in Virgo. Patience, my friends, because this is the 4th. Patience, my friends, Your planetary combination indicates that 4th division Virgos need the forbearance of Job to deal with the problems of life. You can survive them all. Indeed, you can master every situation if you keep in mind the fact that you are distinctly different from most people. Because you are so original and independent in your thoughts and words, you will feel out of step with the rest of the world. It is you who bears a different drummer, as Thoreau once said, not everyone else. Accept that situation and learn to turn it to your advantage, and you will avoid the serious problems you would otherwise face. For your complex personality baffles people who do not understand that you are highly principled, outspoken, honest, and creative. Many people of less exalted ethical standards can't believe that you Virgo 4s really accept the high moral code you profess. They wonder why you find it necessary to be so forthright and honest in your personal dealings, why you run the risk of antagonizing people by telling them unpleasant truths. They may even consider you a troublemaker or a fool just because their own lives have never been illuminated by the brilliance of uncompromised principles. Go the Virgo 4s. Okay, we'll look at the decanates now. The Sun is in the house of Virgo. By the 5th century BC, most of the constellations were by then associated with myths. Astronomy and mythology became fused, not just by naming stars after gods and heroes, but the stars themselves being perceived as divine truth. Each sign of the zodiac is divided into 3 10-day segments called decans or decanates. These decans slide past the parade of myth, magic, and divine beings in outer space. Today, the decanate for the next 10 days is the 9 of Pentacles, and it runs from September 4 to September 13. This is the decanate of adaptability. Second decan Virgos are usually quite materialistic, without any great desire for luxury. Security is at the forge, and they have great organisational and general money-making ability, and they don't spend money recklessly. They are responsible, tactful, and great administrators of the affairs of men, but can become quite one-sided and lacking in perspective. While Saturn betters the ability to see the big picture and strengthens the sense of ambition, it also lessens the flexibility and adaptability. The 9 of Pentacles, display of financial solidarity and success. For the purposes of Giants Tarot readings, Cartomancy, which is the next thing we're looking at, provides a birth symbol for each day of the year. The reading for today is from a book. I don't have this book. I've only got a copy of it without the name of it or the author, so you'll have to tell me and I'll do the right thing by copyright, yes. I've lost the original, I have no idea of the name of the book or the author. Sorry, if anyone knows, let me know and I'll do the right thing, blah blah. 7s in Cartomancy. It's the most mystical of all numbers, hardest to understand and live with, or the most beautiful and rewarding influence in one's life. It is the centre of the 2 spreads, heaven and earth spreads, because if you lay out all the cards from the ace through the numbers and then add the court cards, well, yeah, okay, this is a bit much for a daily reading. 7 is the dominical or holy number, the Sabbath of rest and praise, to see all that is good or perfect. If we pause for contemplation or give it to the time, on the Tree of Life, the Cartomancy little book, the 7th is the sphere of victory. 7 of Diamonds, it's a warning to use strict self-discipline in estimating true values. And the reading for the September 4, Virgo, most must work hard to attain a key position, apt to be meticulous and fussy, swamped with detail. The mind is keen but critical. Their very mentality may become a burden. Must avoid worry and fretfulness. Very successful at research and technical details. Also well adapted for real estate, commodities, especially groceries, merchandising and selling small articles. Can teach or write if other factors in the chart are supporting. Today's the birthday of Mitzi Gaynor and Jesse James. You've probably heard of Jesse James even if you're young. But Mitzi Gaynor was certainly a great film star. She could dance and sing and she was so pretty. Okay, here we go. Finally, the Lenormand card for today, because it has the 7 of diamonds on it, is the birds. So it's all about verbal communication, phone calls, older people, twins, small problems, several short messages, negotiations, siblings. It's a hectic day, meeting, interviews, chatter and restlessness. Stop and imagine for a moment. It's a sunny day. Birds are flitting here and there in trees. Hear the constant chatter, the restless energy, always on the move. That's the Lenormand birds card. It's a verbal discussions, gossip and nervous energy. Just as you rarely see a solitary bird in nature, the bird card represents couples and activities involving more than one person. It's the job interview, meetings and phone calls. The birds are an indicator of activity in your life. It's where you're spending a lot of energy and the things you're focusing on. For career, the birds often indicate a job interview and job-related stress. And for health, many times the bird card will indicate a need to keep an eye on blood pressure and adrenals. It may also show an issue with the throat or vocal cords. I'll leave it there. I've got a thought for the day from an old calendar here, 1996 actually. In charity, there is no excess. Francis Bacon said that. Okay, that's it. Have a lovely day. Love yous. See you soon.